The house was very big, very quiet, very
No, it's
rich.
just a shadow.
Golden
I
lights
guess looks like
shined
a
on
stain.
white walls. Expensive paintings hung everywhere. Soft music played in the background. Guests laughed, holding drinks that cost more than most people earned in 1 month. In one corner of the living room, a man cleaned the floor slowly. He was the cleaner. He wore old shoes and a simple uniform. His hands were rough. His head stayed down. He did not look at anyone. Next to the wall, a small black girl stood quietly. She was his daughter. She held a small school bag tight to her chest. Her shoes were worn. Her dress was clean but old. She looked around the room with wide eyes, afraid to move, afraid to speak. This place was not made for someone like her. She did not belong here. Suddenly, loud heels clicked on the marble floor. The millionaire's wife walked in. She wore a long designer dress. Diamonds sparkled around her neck. Her face showed pride. Her eyes showed power. She stopped walking. She looked at the girl. Her smile disappeared. "What is this doing here?" the woman said loudly. The room became quiet. Guests turned their heads. The girl froze. The cleaner stopped moving. The wife walked closer. Slowly. Carefully. Like a hunter. She looked the girl up and down. "Did you bring your child here?" she asked the cleaner. Her voice was sharp. Cold. The cleaner tried to speak, but no sound came out. The wife laughed. "A cleaner's child standing in my living room?" she said. "This house is not a playground for people like you." Some guests looked away. Some smiled nervously. No one stopped her. The girl felt her face burn. Her hands shook. She wanted to disappear. The wife bent down slightly and pointed at the girl's shoes. "Do you know how dirty these floors are now?" she said. "You people bring dirt everywhere." The word people sounded heavy. Ugly. The girl's eyes filled with tears, but she did not cry. She stayed silent. Her father's hands trembled. He wanted to protect her, but fear held him back. Fear of losing his job. Fear of being thrown out. Then the wife said something worse. "You should teach her her place," she said loudly. "She should not dream too big." The room felt cold. Upstairs on the balcony, a man stood still. He was the millionaire. He held a glass in his hand, but did not drink. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. He had arrived earlier than expected, and he had seen everything. He had heard every word. The humiliation, the silence, the fear. Downstairs, the girl finally lifted her head. Her voice was soft, almost breaking. "I am sorry," she said. "I will not touch anything." The words hit harder than shouting. Some guests felt uncomfortable. Others felt guilty. But still no one spoke. The wife smiled. "Good," she said. "At least you know." She turned away, feeling proud. At that moment, the millionaire placed his glass down. The sound was small, but clear. He took one step forward, then another. Each step echoed. People began to notice. Whispers started. "That's him. He is here." The wife turned around. Her smile froze. The millionaire looked at the girl first. Not with anger, not with pity, with respect. Then he looked at his wife. The room was silent now. No music, no laughter, only breathing. He did not raise his voice. He did not shout. He asked one simple question. "Did you enjoy saying those words?" he said calmly. The wife tried to laugh. "I was just teaching manners," she replied. The millionaire's eyes darkened. He looked at the cleaner. "How long have you worked for me?" he asked. The cleaner swallowed hard. 7 years, sir," he replied. 7 years. The millionaire nodded slowly. He turned back to the guests. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, "please stay. You want to see this." Fear moved through the room. The girl held her father's hand. The millionaire took a deep breath. What he was about to do, no one expected it. And when he finally spoke again, everything changed. The room stayed silent. Too silent. Everyone waited for the millionaire to speak again. But he did not. He stood there calmly, watching. And because he stayed quiet, the wife felt powerful again. She straightened her shoulders. She lifted her chin. She looked around the room and saw rich faces, famous names, important people. She believed they were on her side. She turned back to the little girl. "Why are you still standing there?" she asked coldly. "Did I not tell you this place is not for you?" The girl looked at her father. He gave her a small nod, telling her to stay calm. The girl stepped back slowly, but the wife followed. "Do not hide behind him," she said. "If you are here, you should learn how to behave." Some guests shifted in their seats. A woman held her glass tighter. A man cleared his throat. Still, no one spoke. The wife smiled again, but this smile was different. It was cruel. You know, she said loudly, people like you grow up and become cleaners too. Just like your father. The words cut deep. The cleaner closed his eyes for a moment. He remembered nights without food. Cold mornings. Hard work. He opened his eyes and saw his daughter standing there, small and silent, carrying a pain too big for her age. The girl's hand shook. She wanted to cry, but she remembered what her father always told her. Never let them see you break. She took a deep breath. I want to study, the girl said softly. I want to become a doctor one day. The room froze. The wife laughed. A loud laugh. A laugh full of pride. A doctor, she repeated. You. She looked at the guests, shaking her head. Dreams are expensive, she said. And dreams like that are not for children who clean floors. Some guests laughed quietly. Others looked down, ashamed. The girl's face turned red. Tears rolled down her cheeks now. She could not stop them. The wife stepped closer. Do you know how much my shoes cost? She asked, pointing at her heels. More than your father earns in a year. She moved her foot slightly, blocking the girl's path. Be careful, she warned. If you touch me, you will regret it. That was when the cleaner finally spoke. Please, he said, his voice low and shaking. She's just a child. The wife turned slowly. Her eyes were sharp. Do not forget your place, she said. You are here to clean, not to talk. The cleaner bowed his head again. The millionaire watched everything. His jaw tightened. His hands slowly closed into fists. But still he stayed quiet. The wife felt no danger. Only power. She turned back to the girl one last time. Remember this moment, she said coldly. Remember where you stand in this world. The girl looked up. Her eyes met the millionaire's eyes for a second. Something passed between them. Understanding. Pain. Truth. The millionaire stepped forward. This time, the sound of his shoes was loud. Very loud. Everyone turned. He stopped beside the girl. He looked down at her. Then he did something no one expected. He removed his expensive jacket and gently placed it over the girl's shoulders. The room gasped. The wife's face turned white. This child, the millionaire said slowly, will not feel small in my house. He looked at the guests. And no one, he continued, will be humiliated under my roof. Silence. Heavy silence. The wife opened her mouth to speak. But before she could, the millionaire raised his hand. Do not speak, he said calmly. The power had shifted. Completely. But the truth, the real truth about the girl, was still hidden. And when it came out, it would destroy everything. The room waited. No one moved. No one spoke. All eyes were on the millionaire now. He stood beside the little girl, his jacket resting on her shoulders. She held it tight, like a shield. Her small body still shook, but she felt safer than before. The millionaire looked calm. But inside him, a storm was rising. He looked at the guests first. Rich faces. Confident smiles. People who believed money made them important. He had once wanted to be like them. A long time ago, his mind went back to a small, dark room. A broken chair. A hungry night. He remembered being poor. He remembered being judged by his clothes. By his skin. By his silence. People had laughed at him once too. They had told him to know his place. That memory never left him. He looked down at the cleaner. 7 years. 7 years of quiet work. Never late. Never complained. The millionaire had noticed him from the first month. Not because of his cleaning, but because of his eyes. Those eyes held pride and pain. The millionaire then looked at the girl again. She stood straight now. Still scared. Still hurt. But she did not hide. She reminded him of someone. Himself. The wife broke the silence. You are overreacting, she said, forcing a smile. She should be grateful to even be here. The millionaire turned slowly. He looked at his wife like he was seeing her for the first time. Grateful, he repeated quietly. His voice was low, controlled. Yes, the wife said quickly. People like them should learn manners. The word them hung in the air. The millionaire took a slow breath. Do you know, he said calmly, that this house was cleaned by my own hands once? The guests looked confused. The wife frowned. What are you talking about? She asked. The millionaire did not answer her. Instead, he walked a few steps away. His shoes echoed again. Each step felt heavy. I grew up in a house much smaller than this room, he continued. My mother worked 2 jobs. My father cleaned offices at night. No one laughed now. Some guests shifted uncomfortably. I was told many times that dreams were not for me, he said. That I should not dream too big. The girl listened closely. The cleaner lifted his head slowly. The wife crossed her arms. That has nothing to do with this, she said sharply. The millionaire stopped walking. He turned. It has everything to do with this, he replied. He walked back toward the cleaner. Do you remember your first day here? He asked him. The cleaner nodded slowly. Yes, sir. You came early, the millionaire said. You stayed late. You asked for nothing. The cleaner's voice shook. I just needed work. The millionaire nodded. Then he looked at the girl again. And you, he said gently. Do you like school? The girl hesitated. Yes, she whispered. I love it. What is your favorite subject? He asked. Science, she replied softly. Some guests exchanged looks. The millionaire smiled faintly. I thought so, he said. The wife laughed nervously. This is ridiculous, she said. You are embarrassing me in front of everyone. The millionaire's smile disappeared. He looked straight at her. No, he said slowly. You embarrassed yourself. A sharp silence followed. The millionaire then said something that made the room freeze. There's something about this cleaner, he said, that none of you know. The cleaner's eyes widened. The girl tightened her grip on the jacket. The guests leaned forward. The wife's face turned pale. What are you doing? She whispered angrily. The millionaire ignored her. I did not keep him here out of kindness, he continued. I kept him here because I trusted him. He paused. And because he once saved my life. The room exploded in whispers. Save his life? The wife stepped back. That's not true, she said quickly. The millionaire looked at her one last time. Oh, he said calmly. It is very true. He looked at the guests. And what you are about to hear next. He paused. Will change how you see everything. The girl looked up at him. Hope slowly replaced fear. But the real secret, the one that would break the room, had not been spoken yet. The room felt smaller now. Too many eyes. Too many thoughts. The millionaire stood in the center of the room. Calm. Silent. Strong. The cleaner stood beside his daughter. Nervous. Unsure. The wife stood frozen, her confidence slowly slipping away. The guests whispered. Did he say saved his life? What does that mean? Is this real? The millionaire raised his hand. The room went quiet again. This is not a private matter anymore, he said slowly. This is happening in front of everyone. He turned to his wife. Repeat what you said to that child, he said calmly. The wife blinked. What? She asked. Repeat it, he said again. Say out loud. Exactly how you said it. The wife laughed nervously. Why should I? She replied. She was disrespectful. The millionaire took one step closer. Repeat it, he said, firmer this time. The wife looked around. She saw phones raised. Faces watching. No support. No smiles. Her voice dropped. I said, she should know her place, she muttered. The millionaire nodded slowly. And what is her place? He asked. The wife hesitated. I meant, she started. No, he interrupted calmly. Answer the question. The wife swallowed hard. With her kind, she said quietly. The word landed like a slap. The room gasped. The millionaire closed his eyes for a second. Then he opened them. Everyone heard that, he said. Good. He turned to the guests. Is that how we judge a child now? He asked. By where she comes from? No one answered. A man shifted in his chair. A woman covered her mouth. Someone lowered their phone. The millionaire then turned to the cleaner. Tell them, he said softly. Tell them why you were late last year. The cleaner's eyes widened. Sir, he whispered. Tell them. The millionaire repeated. The cleaner took a deep breath. My daughter was sick, he said. She needed medicine. I worked nights to pay for it. Murmurs filled the room. The millionaire nodded. And when I collapsed in my office, he continued. Who found me? The cleaner swallowed. I did, he said. The guests leaned forward. You could have left me, the millionaire said. No one would have known. But you didn't. The cleaner shook his head. I called for help, he said. I stayed. The wife's face drained of color. You saved my life, the millionaire said clearly. This man saved my life. Silence. Heavy, loud silence. The millionaire turned to his wife again. This is the man you disrespected, he said. And this is the child you humiliated. The wife stepped back. I didn't know, she said quickly. If I had known. The millionaire raised his hand. That is the problem, he said. You should not need to know someone's value to treat them with respect. The words cut deep. The wife's lips trembled. This is my house too, she said desperately. You're making a scene. The millionaire looked around. No, he said. You made the scene. I am ending it. He turned to the guests. I want you all to listen carefully, he said. Because what I say next matters. Everyone leaned in. This girl, he said, placing his hand gently on her shoulder, will never be treated as less. Not here. Not anywhere. The girl's eyes filled with tears again, but this time they were different tears. The wife shook her head. You can't do this, she whispered. The millionaire looked at her coldly. I can, he replied. And I will. He paused. Then he said something that shocked the room even more. There is more, he said. Much more. The cleaner's heart raced. The guests held their breath. The wife whispered, What more? The millionaire looked at the girl, then at the cleaner, then back at the guests. The truth about who this child really is, he said slowly, is about to come out. And when it did, no one in that room would walk away the same. The room stopped breathing. Every eye was on the millionaire. Phones were raised higher now. No one wanted to miss what came next. The millionaire stood still for a moment. He looked at the little girl, then at the cleaner, then at his wife. This truth, he said slowly, was never meant to be told like this. The wife laughed weakly. You are trying to scare people, she said. There is no truth. This is just drama. The millionaire did not react. Instead, he turned to the guests. 10 years ago, he began, I was not rich. I was not powerful. I was just lucky. Some guests frowned. He continued. I had just started my company. I was working day and night. One evening, I was attacked outside my office. A hush fell over the room. I was beaten, he said calmly. I fell. I could not move. The wife's eyes widened. The millionaire pointed toward the cleaner. He was walking by, he said. He did not know me. He did not know my name. The cleaner lowered his head. He could have kept walking, the millionaire continued. But he didn't. The guests leaned forward. He called for help, the millionaire said. He stayed with me until the ambulance arrived. The room buzzed. But that was not all, the millionaire added. The wife shook her head. Stop, she whispered. You are embarrassing yourself. The millionaire ignored her. When I woke up in the hospital, he said, the doctor told me something else. He paused. I had lost a lot of blood. I needed a donor. Fust. Silence. The millionaire looked at the cleaner. He gave his blood, he said clearly, without asking for money, without asking for thanks. Gasps filled the room. The wife stepped back. That's impossible, she said. Why would he do that? The millionaire answered calmly. Because he is human. The room felt heavy. The millionaire then looked at the little girl. And this child, he said gently, was with him that night. The girl's eyes widened. She held his hand. The millionaire continued. She told him not to be afraid. The guests looked shocked. The wife's lips trembled. That night, the millionaire said, I made a promise to myself. He took a slow breath. If I ever succeeded, he said, I would never forget the people who helped me when I had nothing. He turned to the cleaner. I offered you a reward, he said. You refused. The cleaner nodded. I asked only for work, he said quietly. The millionaire turned back to the guests. I gave him a job, he said. I'll watch him for years. The wife interrupted angrily. So what? She snapped. He is still a cleaner. The millionaire looked at her. No, he said calmly. He is a partner. The room exploded. What? A partner? Did he say partner? The wife screamed. You are lying, she shouted. This is madness. The millionaire raised his hand. He owns shares in my company, he said. Not many, but enough. The wife's face turned white. And this child, the millionaire added, is not poor. The guests froze. The girl looked confused. She has a trust fund, the millionaire said. Set up years ago. The wife stumbled back. You hid this from me, she cried. The millionaire's voice was cold now. I hid it from everyone, he said. Because kindness does not ask for attention. He turned to the girl. You want to be a doctor, he said softly. She nodded. Then you will study, he said. In the best schools. With full support. The girl's mouth opened. The room buzzed with shock. The wife collapsed into a chair. "This can't be happening," she whispered. The millionaire looked at her. "This," he said calmly, "is the result of your actions." He paused. "But the story," he added, "is still not over." The guests leaned forward again. The cleaner's heart pounded. The millionaire looked toward the door. "Because consequences," he said slowly, "come next." The room felt different now. Not loud, not angry, just heavy. The truth had landed, and it was crushing. The guests sat quietly, holding their phones, unsure whether to keep recording or put them away. Some faces showed shock. Some showed regret. The wife sat frozen in her chair. Her hands shook. Her perfect world was cracking. The millionaire looked around the room slowly. "Tonight," he said calmly, "you all saw something real." No one interrupted. "You saw power," he continued, "and you saw how easy it is to abuse it." He turned toward the cleaner. "This man worked in silence for years," he said. "He never used his story, never used his past." The cleaner lowered his head. The millionaire then looked at the guests. "But silence does not mean weakness," he said. "And poverty does not mean worthlessness." The words hit deep. A woman wiped her eyes. A man looked down at the floor. The millionaire turned back to his wife. She tried to speak. "I didn't know," she whispered again. "If I had known." The millionaire raised his hand. "No," he said firmly. "You didn't know enough." The wife looked confused. "You knew she was a child," he continued. "You knew she was human." Silence. "That should have been enough," he said. The wife's shoulders dropped. Tears filled her eyes now, not from regret, but fear. "What are you doing to do?" she asked quietly. The millionaire answered without emotion. "I am not angry," he said. "I am clear." He turned to the guests. "I want witnesses," he said, "so no one can twist this later." Phones went back up. The wife gasped. "You can't do this in front of them," she said. "This is private." The millionaire shook his head. "Humiliation was public," he said. "So accountability will be public too." The room went silent again. "I am removing you," he said calmly, "from all charity boards connected to my name." The wife's eyes widened. "You are cutting me off?" she asked. "No," he replied. "I am cutting off behavior." He continued. "All public events under this house," he said, "will no longer include you." The wife stood up suddenly. "You are choosing them over me?" she shouted. The millionaire looked at her. "I'm choosing values," he said. That broke her. She sank back in her chair. The millionaire then turned toward the cleaner and his daughter. He kneeled slightly to be at the girl's level. "You did nothing wrong," he said gently. "Nothing." The girl nodded slowly. He looked at the cleaner. "From today," he said, "you no longer work as staff." The cleaner's heart stopped. "I don't understand," he whispered. "You will still work," the millionaire said. "But not like this." He straightened up. "This man," he said to the guests, "will now work openly as my business partner." Gasps filled the room again. The cleaner shook his head. "Sir, I don't need." The millionaire placed a hand on his shoulder. "You earned it," he said. "Years ago." The guests clapped softly at first, then louder. The girl looked around, confused and overwhelmed. The millionaire smiled at her. "And you," he said, "will never stand in a corner again." Tears rolled down her face. Happy tears. The wife watched everything fall apart. Her power, her image, her control. She whispered one last time. "I said I was sorry." The millionaire looked at her. "Sorry fixes feelings," he said calmly. "But respect fixes behavior." He turned away from her. That was the hardest part. Not anger, not shouting, being ignored. The guests slowly stood up. Some walked toward the cleaner and shook his hand. Some bent down and smiled at the girl. The room that once felt cold now felt human. The millionaire took a deep breath. "This night," he said quietly, "will be remembered." He looked at the girl one last time. "But the real change," he added, "starts tomorrow." The girl held her father's hand tighter. For the first time, she believed that. The night slowly came to an end. The guests left the mansion one by one. Their laughter was gone. Their pride was quiet. What they witnessed would stay with them forever. The big room felt empty now. Only 4 people remained. The millionaire, the cleaner, the little girl, and the wife. The wife stood near the window. She looked outside at the city lights. They once felt like they belonged to her. Now, they felt far away. She did not cry anymore. She felt hollow. The millionaire walked toward the cleaner and his daughter. "You are safe now," he said gently. The girl nodded. She still held his jacket. It smelled clean and warm. It smelled like protection. "Thank you," she whispered. The millionaire smiled. "You thanked me before I earned it," he said. "Tonight, you earn my respect." The girl looked confused. "But I didn't do anything," she said. The millionaire kneeled slightly. "You stayed kind," he replied, "when someone tried to break you." The cleaner's eyes filled with tears. "I never wanted trouble," he said softly. "I only wanted to work." The millionaire stood straight again. "And you did more than work," he said. "You showed your child how to stand with dignity." The cleaner nodded slowly. That mattered more than money. The wife finally turned around. Her voice was quiet now. "What happens to me?" she asked. The room went still. The millionaire looked at her for a long moment. "You will have time," he said calmly. "Time to think. Time to learn." She laughed bitterly. "And if I don't?" she asked. The millionaire answered without anger. "Then nothing changes," he said. "And that is the real punishment." She had no reply. The cleaner gently touched his daughter's shoulder. "Are you tired?" he asked. She nodded. "Yes," she said, "but I feel light." The millionaire smiled. "That is what truth feels like," he said. He then reached into his pocket and pulled out a small card. "This has my number," he said to the cleaner. "Not as your boss, as your partner." The cleaner stared at it. "I don't know if I can do this," he said honestly. The millionaire placed the card in his hand. "You already did," he replied. "Years ago." The little girl looked up. "Will I still go to school?" she asked quietly. The millionaire smiled warmly. "You will go further," he said. "You will go wherever your effort takes you." Her eyes sparkled. She hugged her father tightly. The millionaire turned off the lights in the big room. The mansion no longer felt cold. It felt honest. As they walked toward the door, the girl stopped. She turned back and looked at the wife. "I hope you are okay," she said softly. The wife froze. "No anger. No hat. Only kindness." The wife's eyes filled with tears again, real ones this time. The door closed behind the cleaner and his daughter. Outside, the night air felt fresh. The city lights looked different now, full of possibility. The cleaner held his daughter's hand. "Do you believe in dreams?" he asked her. She nodded. "Yes," she said. "Now I do." Inside the mansion, the millionaire stood alone. He looked at the empty room. He remembered his past. He remembered being small. He whispered to himself. "Power is not what you have," he said. "It's what you protect." Upstairs, the wife sat alone. For the first time in her life, no one listened to her. And for the first time, she understood how that felt. The story did not end with shouting. It ended with truth, with dignity, with a child who walked out stronger than she walked in, and with a lesson the world still needs to learn. Respect costs nothing, but disrespect costs everything.